Alright, I am testing this out. We're going to show Inkscape to create designs, cutting designs for Cricut Design Space. In order to get Inkscape, if you haven't had it before, you can go to Google and search for Inkscape, and it should be the first thing that pops up, which is inkscape.org. You click on that, or you can come down here and say download Inkscape. Click on that, and here you'll get your different options. You can get, obviously, if you have a Linux-based system, Windows, or Apple, Mac OS. Obviously, I have a Windows PC, so I would click on this, and you would download it. Let's see here. I want to see what pops up here. Obviously, you'd have to check to see if your system's a 32 or 64-bit. I believe at least I know I have 64-bit. I believe most of the newer systems do. I could be wrong. So you click on that, and I guess depends on what you want to do if you are familiar with it. I usually just do the exe format. Click on that, and obviously it should start in a couple seconds. If it doesn't start, obviously click there. Just waiting for it to pop up, and it will download. Usually when it's an exe, I just download it to the desktop, so you do that. Once you're on your desktop, double click it, install it. Since I already have it installed, I will not be showing that part, but once you have it installed, go back to Inkscape, and this is what you see when you first open it up. One of the first things I'd like to do, since I create digital cut files for the Cricut and Solo Explorer, is I go to File, Document Properties, and mine for some reason pops up over there. But I like to change this to inches, and I like to work with a 20 by 20 inch square. So press enter, all you do is close out of it, and now you've got, let's see, shift minus, makes it so you can fit on the screen. Shift plus makes it a little bit bigger. If you are not familiar or don't like shortcuts, I believe you go to view and you can zoom in and out right here. Plus and minus or other options there. So here we go. We're just testing this out. First thing, probably easy to do, is a lot of people like to cut words in Design Space. So let's create a word. Halloween's coming up, so let's try. I don't have a whole lot of fonts on here because this is a newer computer. Yeah, let's try Joker-Man. Alright, so I'm going to type in Halloween. Alright. And I like to, I got it typed, and now it's in a text box. Right now it's still text. It's not a vector, which we want to change it into a vector so that you can change it into a cut file for yourself. So the first thing you do is make sure you highlight the your box, and I like to always highlight my letters and go up to Path, Object to Path, and then after Object to Path, you go over here to Object and you go on Group. And you notice all the letters are in grouped right now. So right now it's technically a vector. I can show you, if you click on the nodes right here, you can see that they're all, that's what you'll deal with is nodes. Nodes make up the points, the spots that create the item or the letter, and it tells your machine to cut at those points. So right now, if I wanted to just leave the letters in the way they are, usually what I like to do is I like to unionize them, making them, in Design Space you'd call it weld. So you go to Path, Union, and that would make it a welded word. Now if you don't want that, let's say Control Z for undo, and they're all individual letters. You can move them around if you'd like. Oops. One feature I do not like about this is when you're moving this around, it likes to connect your nodes to cusp nodes, and I like to shut that off. So like if you're in the main view here, over here is where you'd enable the snapping. I don't like the snapping, so I take that snapping off. So let's say now it's a lot easier to move around and it's not connecting to another cusp node. So if I want to, let's say, make these bigger. Now the other thing is, like, right when you open it up, it doesn't keep your proportions even. So I'm going to go Control Z. I'm going to go up here. Right here is where you want to lock it if you want to keep it proportionate. So when you click on here, you can see it does make it proportionate. Another thing I like to do, and mine's already like this, but align and distribute. I use that feature all the time. If you don't have it over here on the side, you'd go up here to this right here, which is your align to distribute objects. You click on that, and it will pop up over here. Now, let's say I want everything to line up center to be horizontal. I click that, and it looks a little better. Or I could have it all line up on the bottom. Obviously, this font, probably, it just depends on how you want to do it. Another thing, maybe you want to have all your letters evenly distributed along that horizontal line. Right here is a great make a horizontal gaps between the objects equal. Make it a little nicer. Some fonts, depending on what you're doing, object fonts, whatever, may not look as nice, but that could be one feature. I like this font probably to be center horizontal, and the way I like to do it, like if you, let's say you don't want to unionize your items, I always like to group all my items before I bring it into Design Space. So right here, Group Selected Objects, click on that, and you can see that's grouped. I always like to save it up as high as I can. Sometimes I like to make it big just so that when it comes into Design Space, it comes in at a decent size. You can see it, you can find it. So now, biggest thing when you want to create a file for Design Space is you want to make sure that it's in this box. If it's outside the box, when you go to save it, it's not going to show up where you want it. So always save it inside the box, and then you're going to go to File and Save As, and you'll decide where you want to put it. Let's say I'm going to put it to the desktop, and I'm going to go to, let's just name it Halloween. And there's an Inkscape SVG. I never use that. I've heard others say that the best one to use is plain SVG, because obviously, I don't know what the difference is. But anyways, I always use plain SVG because that's what people said to use. So you save it. Alright, so we have it there. Now we're going to go over to Cricut Design Space. I believe I have the desktop offline version right now. So I'm going to bring it over here. Open that up. Beta version. So I should have this open before, but I'm going to open this up. And we're going to click on New Project. And we're going to upload our item. We're going to go to, obviously, Browse. And we're going to go to our desktop where we saved our file. Halloween. Obviously, it's going to be an Internet Explorer or Chromebook, anything. Obviously, that's our file because that's the only one we saved, an SVG document. When you hover over it, it will show it there. Alright, we're going to open that up. And you see that it has the name that we named it. It looks right. Now, usually what I do is before, like when I bring it in here, I make sure it shows up right. If it doesn't show up correctly here or gives me errors, I go back to Inkscape and I fix it. Usually the most errors I ever have is like, if I don't group my items, I have items all different areas, and sometimes they're not proportionate to each other the way they were supposed to be in the design. Or a font, maybe I forgot to get it all vectorized and it doesn't like it. Some fonts are a little bit more difficult. I'm not sure why, but if I ever come up with that video, I'll have to show that to you. But anyways, save that. And you got it right there. You go there, insert image, and you will have a cut file in Inkscape, or not Inkscape, Design Space. And it's hiding from me. I'm not familiar with this newer Design Space. Guess I must have to make it. Oh, where in the world? I am confused. And for some reason, the letters are not showing up. Okay. Let's make this smaller. Oh, there we go. I guess the design space doesn't like it big. Maybe I'll need to learn to make things smaller. Anyways, there it is. As you see, I grouped them before I brought them into design space. I can ungroup them and make each letter a different color, however you want to do it. But before you print, if you want it, or before you cut it with your machine, if you want them to be, you know, together like where they're at, if they're the same color, make sure you attach it. And if you have different colors, you're going to have to obviously place them where they need to be. But that gives you an idea of how to bring in a design from your Inkscape. And hopefully that helps you understand